getting the race to net zero with technology. Please join me to give him a round of applause.
สวัสดีครับ Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So far we've had some really insightful sessions from the government's perspective, from our industry leaders, and we just had Dr. Ernst Reichel, the ambassador of Germany to Thailand, sharing his global sustainability know-how and his experience. So today I would like to focus a bit more on technology and how it can help industry help to achieve net zero. We all lived through the pandemic, but one remarkable thing that it showed us was that humanity can adapt, and we can adapt very fast. And how did we adapt during the pandemic? It was by using technology, and that really is a good thing, because today we are facing another major challenge, and that challenge is climate change. If we want to keep global warming within the safe limits that have been shown here already today, quite frankly, we are running out of time. And here in Thailand, the past year has reminded us just how urgent this challenge has really become. We're facing some of the most severe weather and natural disasters that we have seen in our history, from the scorching heat waves to devastating floods to extreme monsoons that swept across the country early this year, impacting more than 100,000 households. And of course, the flash floods that we now see in the south of Thailand that have disrupted almost 3 million people in Hat Yai. We saw the heaviest rainfall ever recorded in over 300 years. And coupled with that, in Phuket and Bangkok, we saw temperatures of up to 50 degrees Celsius, which is the highest that we have ever seen. So all of this points to one thing, is that climate change, it's making these events, it's making them more extreme, it's been more frequent, more intense, and also more destructive. And we all know that industry is a key economic driver. We have went over that today, but we also must face the fact that industry contributes at least 30% of the world's global CO2 emissions. And at the same time, we are probably consuming about 38% of global energy. So, if we want to put the world on a more sustainable path, we do need to transform our industries. At Siemens, we say we combine the real and the digital worlds. And you see this infinity loop behind me. You've probably seen, if you've seen me present before, if you've seen any of my colleagues, if you've seen any Siemens presentation before, you've probably seen it. But what does it actually mean? Well, for me, it means that we use technology faster to solve real-time problems and real-life problems faster, more sustainably, and more efficiently. It's clear that new technologies, they will reshape the backbone of our economy. And the advanced technologies, they will not just accelerate decarbonization, but they will also enable companies to be more competitive. Let me walk you through what this might look like for some industries. We had the CP group present earlier this morning, and they were talking about empowering more sustainable production. And what does that mean? Well, it means for factories to run with less energy, to produce less waste, and to achieve higher output with fewer resources. We can also optimize transport and logistics. Supply chains, well, they're smarter, they're greener, and we can have lower emissions and better reliability in our supply chains. We could also improve maintenance efficiency. Predictive maintenance systems, they can prevent downtime, and they can extend very expensive assets' lifetime. So basically, another area we could focus on is optimizing our facilities and our buildings for net zero. Smarter facilities that only use energy when it's needed and respond to the occupants real time this is where we want to head towards. Increasing energy efficiency across industries. We've seen if all the equipment in factories and all of these systems that sometimes, as you said, they work in silos, sometimes like our organizations. Also in factories, systems work in silos. If we can combine all of this information, it can really help to reduce consumption and to reduce it at scale. So all of this is empowering a cleaner, more resilient grid, meaning a grid that's easier to integrate renewables, that can manage fluctuations, and that can deliver more stable power. And one of the most powerful tools that I would like to talk about today is the digital twin. The colleagues earlier, they talked about BIM models and Rever and things like that. Well, the digital twin is kind of the next level to a BIM model. It's basically a virtual representation of a physical object. And that could be a factory, it could be a production line, it could be a building, or it even could be an energy system. And all of these can be simulated, tested, and optimized before we even pick up a single piece of material. And this digital twin doesn't end in the design phase. Once this digital twin is connected to real-time operational data, it can continuously learn, continuously optimize, and continuously reduce carbon emissions. So for me, this is where productivity, resilience, and sustainability truly meet. At Siemens, our carbon footprint is currently 121 million tons of CO2. And that's including our Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3 emissions. Our ambition is to reduce 90% of our Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions by 2030. We all know that Christmas is around the corner, so that's 4 years and 1 month from now. And that is an ambitious target, trust me. And similar to Thailand, we want to be net zero by 2050. And it's really nice to see that Thailand has reduced their target from 2065 to 2050, and also to see today the path of how we're going to get there. For us at Siemens, we are powering our path to net zero by using our own portfolio. Our own portfolio is helping us to walk the talk. And at the same time, we're actually helping our customers to reduce more emissions than we're actually generating across our entire supply chain. Today, Siemens technologies enable our customers to avoid about 144 million tons of CO2. If I was to put that number into perspective, into something you can put into your head, to give you a visualization, that would be like removing every single car in Thailand from the roads for 3 years. Darot Sambi. So let's talk about Thailand. I want to give you a few examples of how we are helping our customers in Thailand to drive sustainability. For one of the leading Thai sugar producers, we have helped them to fully automate their entire value chain. And this automation has prevented over 3,000 tons of annual sugar loss. And it also has helped them to reduce their consumption by 10%, ensuring a stable, higher quality, and more refined sugar output. At another factory, we have integrated their IT and OT systems, which has helped to basically boost productivity and increase energy efficiency, but also it empowers the workers there they can now use digital workflows to map and track everything. With the leading renewable energy providers, actually, Kun Ekarat from EGAT, he showed one of the projects that we have worked on. We deploy our Siemens medium voltage switchgear at wind and solar substations, including Ubon Ratchathani Dam, which you saw earlier this morning. But we have deployed similar equipment across multi-locations in Thailand. And all of these renewable projects are helping Thailand to deliver higher grid stability, better renewable integration, and basically enhanced supply resilience. However, decarbonization of your own operations, it's really just part of the journey. For most companies, over 90% of our emissions lie in the supply chain. So, it's important that we partner across all tiers in the supply chain. And we heard from the CP group this morning that they are starting to do this with their supply chain. For Siemens, we use something called a green digital twin, where we can actively track and reduce the environmental footprint of our suppliers from raw material to the very end of product life. Now, at the moment, we are really only at the start of this journey, but it's reducing approximately 9% of our CO2 footprint from our Scope 3 emissions. But by 2030, again, 4 years and 1 month from now, our ambition is to reduce this supply chain emissions by 30%. And all of this is part of our net zero by 2050 plan. So the question for me then becomes, how can Thailand reach its sustainability targets? And we have seen many ideas today, but I'm going to focus on maybe 4 priorities for industry that really could be quick wins for industry here in Thailand. We all know, as I said, manufacturing, yes, it's the economic engine, but our manufacturing here in Thailand, I believe it needs a digital upgrade. We need to have more digital twins. We need more of these OT, IT integration projects. We need to use AI to optimize processes. We need to increase the yield. We need to reduce downtime. And obviously, we need to cut our energy usage. Second, we must redefine quality in terms of the final product. What do I mean by that? I mean circularity by design. Shifting from disposable to circular economy. Reuse more and waste less. The next thing we need to do is we need to strengthen the backbone of Thailand's digital industry. The first presentation today from the Minister of Energy, we saw that data centers, we have a massive investment in data centers coming here in Thailand. And these data centers, these industry giants, they demand reliable and clean power. Digital substations and advanced automation will help us to integrate more solar and more wind and other types of renewables onto the grid. And this will allow us to have fewer outages, a far greater stable and a more stable grid. And to be honest, this is what international investors expect. We must make our infrastructure efficient, intelligent, and have digitally managed facilities. Lastly, if we can combine this with what we've seen already, on-site renewable generation, this can make us more resilient, it can reduce operational costs, and it can significantly reduce our carbon emissions. I believe with these 4 priorities, it gives Thailand a clear path forward to build a cleaner and a stronger and more competitive industry. The technology that we need, it's already here today, so let's accelerate this race together. Kopa Makap. Thank you.